What's good, nerds? How are y'all doing? Welcome to the Movie Mass. It is I, your brother Jay, the movie monk, the Bishop of Bullmoose, the Shaolin Abbot of Arrow, the Criterion Choir boy, damn it. I'm here. What's up? You're here. It's all good. And speaking of being here, I want to issue a very special and very warm nipple rub and welcome to new patron Chapman Carruthers.
See you at the party, Richter.
You know, being just over the holidays and entering into 2026, I, like most of you, no doubt, have been afforded the opportunity to think back on the year that has just passed. I think the early weeks of January is a good time to reflect on the previous year. You know, what went right? What went wrong? Why did I drink so fucking much? Why did I smoke so fucking much? Some questions can't be answered, but there is one question that I have been pondering of late that I wanted to share with you guys, and I want to get your opinions on this as well. So the things that you think about this video, I want to hear about, obviously, down below. Hit me up. But I wanted to talk about some of the better 4K upgrades that became available to us in 2025. I'm also going to mention a few not as good 4K upgrades, at least for me personally, during the course of this video. I'll start with the not as good 4K upgrades. You know, the runners-up, the short bus of 4K upgrades. Here's the short bus of 4K upgrades. I'll start with those, and then I want to talk about my favorite, the best-looking 4K upgrades of 2025, the ones that I'm happy that I spent money on. The rules for this game are fairly simple. It has to be a movie that was released in 2025 on 4K. Also, it has to be a movie that I was upgrading. There's a lot of great stuff that got released on 4K in 2025 that I'm not going to mention today because I didn't own a previous version of the film. So you might think, hey, Jason, you left out this movie that looks amazing on 4K. It's the best 4K upgrade of the year. It might be an upgrade for you, but I don't own it on DVD or Blu-ray. So for me, the movies that I'm going to mention today are ones that I've specifically owned on a previous format that in 2025 I upgraded to 4K. So something like Dirty Work, for example. There's the 4K of Dirty Work. I'm not going to consider this one. This one doesn't count for me because I did not own a copy of Dirty Work before I bought the 4K. This is a damn fine 4K transfer. I mean, Dirty Work looks better than it had any right to look. If you had told me at the beginning of 2025 that one of the best looking, one of my favorite 4Ks of the year was going to be that friggin' thing, and that's a drawing of a man's nipples. I don't think that can get me in trouble on YouTube, right? I don't think so. I mean, if those were voluptuous lady titties on a Vinegar Syndrome release, I'd be worried. But these are dude titties on a Vinegar Syndrome release with hair in between. So because this is repulsive, it's not going to get me in any trouble, I don't think. But anyway, this one doesn't count. That's the example that I'm giving you. Dirty Work, yes, it looked great. Yes, it was a great 4K. It looked way better than I had any business to, but it doesn't count because I did not own Dirty Work prior to buying it on 4K. So it was not an upgrade for me. It was just a grade. So again, I'm going to start with some of the weaker ones, some of the ones that let me down a little bit. There were a few, and ironically enough, they're all falling into the comedy genre. The first two I'll mention simultaneously, just in the interest of keeping this video a little shorter, and that is Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. These are two favorite films of mine. Easily favorite comedies of the 90s. You know, if you asked me to pick out my favorite comedies of the mid-90s, these would be my go-to for that particular era. I think these are very good examples of just what was kind of edgy and popular at that time, you know, circa 1995, 1996, this was it. I mean, this is what I was watching as a teenager and pissing my pants laughing. I love these movies. So it was kind of disappointing. I've already sold off the DVD copies of these that I owned. I got the DVDs, 20 plus years ago. And then I was all too happy to upgrade. I never upgraded them to Blu-ray, so I was all too happy to upgrade them to 4K. I especially love Billy Madison. I mean, I'm one of the rare people that put Billy Madison above Happy Gilmore. I love both movies, so I'm not trying to start a fight, but I do like Billy Madison. I saw Billy Madison first. I saw it on release night. To me, it came first. It's always going to be first in my heart. But I was a little disappointed because these Kino 4Ks really, they look better. Sure, I watched the Happy Gilmore DVD and 4K back to back. I was like putting in the DVD, watching part of it. I'd put in the 4K and watch the same scene, same television, same distance, same lighting, really like same amount of edible marijuana in my bloodstream, same amount of THC, CBD, ethanol, all of that. Everything was the same. All the conditions were the same. We did this as scientifically as possible. So, yes, Happy Gilmore did look better, of course, on 4K than on a DVD, and that's the purpose of the upgrade. But I was really disappointed because it didn't look as good as Dirty Work. I mean, I had watched Dirty Work like a month earlier, and talk about blowing my titties off. Dirty Work blew my titties off. So when Happy Gilmore did not proceed to blow my titties off, yes, it looked better, but when it did not proceed to absolutely knock my socks off, I was a little bit let down. And even more disappointing for me for both of these releases is the utter lack of new special features. There's a new audio commentary on each of these. That's it. You get a new audio commentary here and a new audio commentary here. Otherwise, all of the other special features, the trailers, the outtakes, the deleted scenes, all that shit, it's all ported over from the DVD. All of the special features on both of these releases I've had for the past 22 years. I've seen them many times. So it's a little bit of a disappointment to shell out 30 bucks each for these motherfuckers just to get the same special features, basically. One additional commentary. So, like, thanks a lot. I think, these films, they could be treated with a little bit more respect. They could have looked a little bit better, and on top of that, you could have given me a little bit more materials here. One other small disappointment for me this year was the 4K release for The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I got the Steelbook. I like the Steelbook. I like the Steelbook art. I do like the original art too, because look at that, like, holographic foil. It's like some fucking Marvel comic book from 1993. Do you see that, like, holographic? I wish they had done something similar here. Like, look at the light shining over this thing. You don't get any of that holographic, that sheen. As a result, I'm not going to be able to get rid of this DVD. My wife is going to say, why do you still have the DVD? You've got the 4K. You've got the 4K Blu-ray combo Steelbook. Why do you still have this? And then I'm just going to say, shh, and I'm just going to do this and let the light pass over it. And then she's going to lose what little respect she still had for me when she sees me do that. She's going to say, you're keeping it because it's a fucking rainbow. You're keeping it so you can put it out in June because it's a fucking rainbow. Fucking A. Sure, that is how my wife talks to me, by the way. It's not an exaggeration for the sake of humor. Anyway, I don't think this 4K looked as bad as my homie Brian from Last Movie Standing did. And I think Chase agreed with him too. I don't think it looked as bad as they did. They both thought it looked detestable. I didn't think it looked that bad. I didn't think it looked that great either. I thought it was a very marginal upgrade. And this is a DVD I've watched a gajillion times. So watching the 4K, I will admit, it didn't seem like very much of an upgrade. At the same time, I think, this is a mid-aughts comedy that really probably wasn't very beautifully photographed in the first place. So it may be that just the original photography wasn't that great to begin with. And so how much can you really do? One thing that I do like about 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I'm not going to complain about, is that they did add some new special features to this. And I also got a digital code. So this felt like a little bit more of a worthy upgrade for me. Even if the 4K wasn't mind-blowing for me, it still felt like a pretty worthy upgrade, and I'm glad they added the, there was like a retrospective, like a 20th anniversary retrospective conversation with several of the actors and Judd Apatow the director, and it was something like 30 minutes or 45 minutes long, with all of them having like a roundtable discussion. And I thought that was a great new special feature. It was fun watching them reflect back on the experience, so many years later. So I thought that was a decent upgrade, but still kind of shout out for like almost there. 40-Year-Old Virgin really could have podiumed if it had looked as good as Dirty Work, if it had been up there as far as like, this is what we can do with a comedy of that general era. There was not more than, I think it was about 7 years between Dirty Work and 40-Year-Old Virgin. So you can't tell me that there was like this huge difference in like film technology, and the whole thing is totally, we're talking about apples and oranges. We're talking about two comedy movies that were roughly 7 years apart. And if Dirty Work can look that good, I have to believe that Happy Gilmore, that Billy Madison could look that good, that 40-Year-Old Virgin could have looked that good as well. They just didn't because reasons. Anyway, for the last one that let me down, I'm not going to like beat you over the head with these, but the last one that let me down was this one hurt even more than Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, because this one is a comedy film of the 80s that is even nearer and dearer to my heart. I absolutely love Better Off Dead. I absolutely love this movie. This is a film that I have seen countless times, probably more than Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison put together. It's got a awesome soundtrack. The girls are cute. It's tons of fun. Curtis Armstrong is funny. I love this movie. It's a quirky, silly, stupid movie, but I love it. The Paperboy with the switchblade comb, the $2. I mean, talk about looking at inflation, right, over the years. It's like, holy shit. You used to be able to get like a week's worth of newspapers delivered to your doorstep in the morning for $2. I'm not sure if that's real, but I want it to be real. I love this movie, and I upgraded that 4K from this Steelbook, this Blu-ray Steelbook, that I will not be getting rid of because your eyeballs should be telling you the information you need to know. This is way better art. There's just something very generic about this. Look at this artwork. It's the same Better Off Dead cover that we've seen 100,000 times. It's John Cusack looking over a pair of sunglasses. It's not especially indicative of Better Off Dead. It could be any John Cusack film of the era. I mean, this could be Hot Pursuit. This could be One Crazy Summer. This could be The Sure Thing. There were a ton of films that he made right around that time that this could be a still from any of those. Whereas this, of course, contains the cast of the film. Very memorable cast. Again, the girls are cute. Diane Franklin, I mean, Jesus Christ, cute as a button. I'll try to get you a little closer to her. Look at that. The artist of this passed away last year as well, passed away in 2025. But, you got the iconic line, I want my $2. I think a better line of dialogue from Better Off Dead is, gee, Ricky, I'm sorry your mom blew up. That is a beautiful piece of dialogue. I mean, imagine getting that into a script. Like, what a fucking achievement in screenwriting is that. You deserve an Academy Award for simply working that line of dialogue into your film. Gee, Ricky, I'm sorry your mom blew up. That is a fucking amazing piece of dialogue, and I do wish the Steelbook said that on the back instead of I want my $2. Everybody knows the $2 joke. It's a little bit more played out than the gee, Ricky, I'm sorry your mom blew up line. But anyway, like Happy Gilmore, like Billy Madison, the 4K of Better Off Dead had a very similar problem. In addition to lackluster artwork, which is far better on the Steelbook, I rest my case there, but there are no new special features. There's really no special features. I actually think that the Blu-ray has more special features than the 4K. I think the 4K lost special features because they were trying to get them off the 4K disc, right? I think this does come with the Blu-ray disc, and so the special features might be retained on the Blu-ray disc because I don't think it's a new Blu-ray disc. I think it's the same Blu-ray disc they gave us several years ago in the Steelbook, but I'm really just kind of sad that this doesn't look better. It looks better than the DVD. Trust me, I had this movie on VHS. This looks a lot better than where I started my journey with Better Off Dead. My Better Off Dead VHS from 1993, this looks a shit ton better than that. So I'm trying to keep things in perspective, but it could look a little bit better. It was a little dull. In fact, my buddy Chase and I from AVA Pop Culture were discussing it when he was watching it the other night, and it just, it could look a little bit better. I think it could have been a little bit more vibrant. I don't think it looked bad, but it just wasn't as good as I would have loved for a film that is like easily one of my top 10 teen comedies of the 1980s. Like easily, maybe shortlist for like top 3 of that particular genre and era. So it was sad that Better Off Dead didn't have a better 4K. I would have loved for Better Off Dead to get like the dirty work treatment. I'm talking about like a rigid slip box. If Better Off Dead had gotten this, even if it was John Cusack's fucking nipples on the cover, I don't care. If it had gotten a rigid slip box with a slip cover and a booklet and just special features list longer than my dick, which is not really saying much about the special features, it could be done, let's put it that way. I would have loved to have had that Better Off Dead release. That chunky box Better Off Dead release with a whole second disc of bonus features and 3 audio commentaries. How do we not have an audio commentary for Better Off Dead? This video, I swear, I was going to talk about a bunch of things. Apparently, this is just 20 minutes of me talking about how much I love Better Off Dead and therefore how disappointed I am in this lackluster 4K, bare bones 4K release. It's just a damn shame because I would have killed. There's still no audio commentary. And there's an audio commentary on the Warner Archive disc for One Crazy Summer. You want to tell me why there's a audio commentary? Curtis Armstrong, Bobcat Goldthwait, and Savage Steve Holland, at least the 3 of them, and maybe even a 4th dude, are on the commentary for One Crazy Summer. I know John Cusack's not going to come back and do a commentary for Better Off Dead because he doesn't give a fuck about those movies. We give a fuck about those movies, so John Cusack can respectfully kiss my taint. But if Savage Steve Holland and Bobcat Goldthwait and Curtis Armstrong wanted to record a commentary for Better Off Dead, they could have done so in the last 25 years. I don't know where that commentary is and why we haven't gotten it yet, but if you need, if we got to crowdfund that dough, I've got at least $5,000 that I'm willing to pitch in to see that happen. Can we please get a fucking commentary with Savage Steve Holland and a couple of drunk guys, Bobcat Goldthwait and Curtis Armstrong? Give them some drugs, give them some booze, record the fucking commentary already. Please, I will buy the drugs and the booze, okay? Anyway, I'm gonna try to stop talking about that now because I did way too much on Better Off Dead. I talked way more about Better Off Dead than I thought I was going to. Let me take a sip of this and try and calm down. Okay. Let's talk about my favorite 4Ks of the year. Are these the best looking? I don't know, maybe, maybe not. The first one I'm gonna mention is To Catch a Thief. This is a 4K steelbook of upgrade for the DVD. Look at that old ass DVD. This is at least a 20-year-old DVD. I think I got this DVD right around 2005, 04, 05. And there's not a ton of, there's some special features on here, but gotta admit, I much prefer this artwork. I like the cat and the cat burglar on the back. You've got to appreciate that's a little on the nose, right? You guys could have done a little bit better than that. And I think maybe the only complaint I have with this is it's just a 4K disc. There's some fun artwork in there. There's Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly was a real life fucking princess. She was like actually a princess. She like married a prince. I was just like, fuck acting. I'm gonna go rule a country, motherfuckers. Credit for that. All you gotta say to me is 4K Steelbook Alfred Hitchcock. Literally, that's all you gotta say to me. I'm getting my checkbook out. I'm writing you a check. I'm signing my name. I don't care. I'll leave it blank. To Catch a Thief. This one, the nice thing about this one though, I think I got it for like 15 or 16 bucks for a 4K. So I'm not even gonna complain about not having the Blu-ray disc. That's my only complaint about To Catch a Thief. Otherwise, I think some folks said that it didn't look that good, but I think those people are smoking more crack than I am. So, and here's another one that I was mostly pleased about. that I upgraded this year. That was Hot Pursuit. I had this on DVD. I've already sold off the DVD, unfortunately. I can't hold up the DVD. I can't hold them side by side. This is what the DVD looked like that I had. This is the DVD that I had. And the reason why I'm mostly okay with this upgrade is because, for some reason, Hot Pursuit, until 2025, it didn't exist on Blu-ray. It was stuck on DVD, as many films are. I hope that in 2026 we see many of these films liberated from DVD, but it was stuck on DVD. I found a copy. I must have found a copy used $10. I know it wasn't super cheap. It wasn't like $3 or I wouldn't be complaining. It was like 10 or 12 or $15. And I didn't watch it. You know, I bought it, I put it on my shelf meaning to watch it like next summer. And then what do? Fucking Kino drops this shit on me. The cover is way better though. You will have to agree here. I'll hold this over here so I can put up the old cover next to the new cover. Let's put the old cover next to the new cover. This is a lot better as far as cover art goes. At any rate, I never watched the DVD. I wound up reselling it, so I took a little bit of a bath on the DVD, but whatever. Now, just like the other Kino releases that I got this year, they ain't shit for special features on there. You see that? 2 little rinky-dink special features, and one of them is the theatrical trailer. That's not a very special feature, dog. That's a feature at best. It's not a special feature, and it's not a bonus feature. It's a feature at best. The trailer is like bare minimum. The theatrical trailer, they're counting that as one of the 2 bonus features. I tell you what, with Kino in 2025, I've lost a bit of my patience in terms of just shit getting slapped on a Blu-ray and thrown out there. Yes, it did look pretty good. I remember watching this and thinking, this is a pretty good looking Blu-ray. And I'm happy about that particular upgrade because I got the DVD out of my Dominion and I didn't even have to lay eyes on it. So fuck it. I'm done with the DVD. I upgraded. It's got better cover art. Afangul. The next one I want to mention is an upgrade that I have been looking forward to for some time now. I'm sorry Criterion wasn't the one that got to do it, but who can really blame Shout for wanting to keep this bitch all to themselves? There's Hard Boiled. The 4K of Hard Boiled I upgraded from this Criterion DVD, and this is another one that I won't get rid of because it's an out-of-print Criterion. And I don't get rid of out-of-print Criterions. If I have an out-of-print Criterion, even if it comes back into print, in a lovely 4K, and let me say the 4K for Hard Boiled looked great. The Killer has always been my favorite of the John Woo, Chow Yun-fat cycle of movies at the very end of the 80s and early 90s. But I did watch the 4K of The Killer, and I did upgrade it from the DVD of The Killer. So like shout out, it's a much better looking, it's a big, huge upgrade from the DVD of The Killer to the 4K of The Killer. But I was very impressed with Hard Boiled. I thought Hard Boiled looked incredible in 4K. It was a huge, like, night and day upgrade. This is a non-anamorphic DVD, by the way. This came out so early that this is widescreen, but it's non-anamorphic. So when you watch it on a modern television that's like 16:9, it's got the black bands at the top and bottom that you expect from a widescreen film. But then it's also got black bands on either side too, because this fucking disc thinks you're watching it on a fucking 4x3 television, a square TV from 1998. I think the VHS might have looked better that I had in 1995. Anyway, I'm not getting rid of this because it's an out-of-print Criterion, so, you know, fight me. This 4K looked amazing. This 4K looked great. I do wish Criterion had been able to, because I love it when they resurrect a spine number, especially an old spine number. Like this is Spinal Tap, came back in 2025, and that would be on this list if I'd bought the 4K yet. I haven't bought the 4K yet of This is Spinal Tap, but I do have the DVD, the out-of-print DVD over there on my shelf. But the Hard Boiled, I gotta say, this was never my favorite of the films. I always preferred the more melodramatic A Better Tomorrow and The Killer. Honestly, I think, you know, now that it's been 30 years, I'm changing my tune. I much prefer the more whimsical, way less melodramatic Hard Boiled. I think it's a much more fun movie to watch than The Killer, which is just, you know, over the top melodrama. And yeah, great. I love The Killer. I'm not saying anything wrong about The Killer, but Hard Boiled looked motherfucking great, y'all. If you didn't get this 4K, shame on you. Another one is one that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I don't know if maybe it's just not the best looking 4K in the world, or I just really did not hear. I'm surprised I didn't hear very many people talking about this one on social media or YouTube. But this one was a no-brainer for me as far as an upgrade goes. This might be kind of, basic of me to say this, but because this film has had a lot of popularity over the years, maybe, more so in the 90s when it was in constant rotation on Comedy Central. This film was every fucking week was on Comedy Central. But that is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This is the 4K Steelbook. Got a big picture of God on the back. And I've always loved this movie. I mean, I do tend to gravitate more towards like really kind of silly, sort of like with Better Off Dead. I talked about Better Off Dead and how kind of silly and it's not farcical, it's absurd. And this is very absurd at times too. It's anachronistic. It's intentionally anachronistic, and it's just a funny movie. It's a hilarious movie. It's one I'm looking forward to showing my daughters. I think the only thing that's holding me back is the tale of Sir Galahad, where he goes into that castle full of bitches who are DTF. They want to sit on his face. They want to form a line. Like his face is the Superman roller coaster at Six Flags. They want to form a line to sit on his face. And I loved that at the end, he's like, well, I can stick around. As soon as Lancelot gets there to rescue him, he's like, I'm not sure I need rescuing. I kind of want to bang all these broads for a little while. I could spend 6 months here. Anyway, that is the only thing holding me back from showing this to my daughters, because it's otherwise a pretty silly film with some very like kind of quirky humor it's not full of like F-bombs, and there's no like tits and ass and sex scenes and shit like that. So it's one I'm looking forward to showing them, although I probably will have some questions to answer after the tale of Sir Galahad, and I am gonna wait a few more years to show it to them. I had this, and this is another DVD that I can't get rid of. I can't get rid of this one. I had this DVD, but it's like a lenticular. I wonder if you can see that. It's like a lenticular, I know you can hear that. It's like one of those lenticular things. And this is a very early example. I don't know what year this DVD, I've had this DVD since at least 07, 08, 07 or 08. It's a very early example of a slipcase. So the DVD obviously goes inside the slipcase, much like Dirty Work does. Fits right inside that lenticular slipcase, and dude, lenticular and slipcase. I can't get rid of this DVD. I'll never watch it again, but I can't. I've got the 4K, but I can't get rid of the lenticular slipcase Monty Python and the Holy Grail DVD. My wife is just going to have to live with it. I mean, look, I don't gamble much. Yes, I do drugs. Yeah, I drink. I don't gamble much. I don't go to whores often. I really feel like as far as vices go, I have a small handful. Maybe 6 or 7. And keeping DVDs that I absolutely do not need is the least offensive of all of them. So really, I mean, if she wants to complain, I understand. I am the cause of quite a few complaints, but I feel like me hoarding DVDs that I don't need really is kind of at the bottom of a long list of complaints that I may or may not be responsible for. Early in the year, very early, I think it might have been a January release of 2025. I think this one was like mid-January, one of the earliest releases of the year of 2025. But it is an impressive 4K. It's a very impressive 4K. And that is Jackie Brown. And this is a Lionsgate Limited. And it's an impressive looking 4K. It really is. A very, very good looking 4K. It's never been my favorite of Tarantino's films, but it has grown on me since revisiting it in 2025. But it would be nice to have a complete collection of the Tarantino films on Steelbook. Would be pretty cool. And I upgraded that. I upgraded this Jackie Brown from this DVD. Look at this Jackie Brown DVD. I've had this one for, God, 20 plus years. At this point, too, there's another early example of a slipcase. You can see there's like that bullet hole there. and you can see Jackie Brown's face through that bullet hole. And this is again another early example of a slipcase. This one's a little harder to get out because it's a digipack instead of a plastic case. But comes out. You've got the cast on the front and the back, and it unfolds, like opens up, and so you've got all of this great artwork here. There's a booklet. I mean, look at that. This is a really kind of premium release back in the day when like DVDs were nothing special for a while there, maybe with the exception of some Criterions. And so I won't get rid of this DVD either, right? I'm a broken record tonight. I've upgraded a bunch of shit. I'm doing a whole video showing you shit I've upgraded and also telling you why I'm never gonna get rid of the DVD copy that I don't need anymore because I upgraded it to a far superior. I mean, this Jackie Brown looks way better than the DVD ever will. I can't get rid of the DVD. Did you see that packaging? It might be nicer than the Steelbook. I can't get rid of it. I also upgraded, as I think a lot of you guys did, I upgraded Dark City in 2025. And this was like low-key, this was a really great looking 4K. I enjoyed this movie a ton. And it really has grown on me a lot more having revisited it this year. I think I liked it a lot more than I did previously. I had like a snapper case with the cardboard cover of the DVD. I've already sold that bitch on the internet, or I sold it to Bull Moose. Regardless, I got rid of it. This is what it looked like. It looked like this. It was fine artwork, and obviously the retro feel of that like snapper case is pretty cool, but I sold it off when I got this bitch. I got the Arrow chunky box, you know it. So there's a DVD that I did manage to part with. There's a DVD that I managed to say, fuck it, I don't need that DVD anymore, even though it was a cool snapper case. I got rid of it. Guys, look, I'm growing, I'm maturing as a person. So this is a great looking 4K. If you don't have it, I feel bad for you, son, because it is sold the fudge out. You got to go buy a standard edition like a poor person, like a peasant, like some medieval peasant. Go buy that non-slip having standard edition. You know, I'd buy a lot more standard editions from Arrow if they had slip covers. I would probably wait on the chunky boxes. And here's the last one I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to keep this video manageable. I don't know how long I've gone at this point, but I'm going to try to keep it manageable. I'm going to try to show you one last one, and that is Reanimator. This is one that I also upgraded from DVD. But look at that. I mean, this is a beautiful. This is the Ignite. I went with Ignite over Second Sight. For one thing, this was out many months before the Second Sight one. The Second Sight release pretty much just dropped, and I've had this for months now. I think I watched this in like June or July. Also, the fact that Ignite is the one who, you know, they licensed their restoration and transfer to Second Sight. So, you know, I kind of feel like Ignite deserves the credit. Ignite deserves the sale, in my opinion, for this very, very nice 4K. It's a great looking 4K. I got no complaints about this. This thing's amazing. It's another one of these sets that comes with a hardcover book. I usually read these things. I read part of it. I think I've read about half of the hardcover book that comes with it. Look at that. A whole ass hardcover book comes with this release, and it's just like, this is like 100 pages. I didn't get through the whole thing yet. Hopefully in 2026 I'll revisit Reanimator and I'll read the back half of this book. But really incredible release, great art, great package, great presentation. As far as like everything I've complained about today, they've addressed complaints. Not only does the movie look incredible, the film looks incredible, which is the most important part. But then, you know, it's chock full of amazing special features. It's got bonus content out the wazoo. It's got a beautiful presentation in that chunky box. I've got no complaints about this. And at this point, I'm pretty well sold on Ignite. For a new boutique, I'm pretty excited below the belt about them. This is the Anchor Bay copy of Reanimator on DVD that I had. It was also kind of a chunky box. It came with a don't know if you can see that. It came with a pen. It's like a pen that you would write with, but it's shaped like the hypodermic needle, and it's full of green goop or whatever. And it's still in the box. I'm a collector. I'm not going to take this out and use the fucking pen. So it's probably all dried up, but I can't get rid of this one either. It's the Anchor Bay. It's the old Anchor Bay DVD release, and it's just like such a unique collector's item for a film that you love. I feel like you've got to keep those like oddball, kind of unique versions of the film, even if you're never going to watch the DVD again. I'm never going to watch the DVD of Reanimator again. It's just what it is. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think about my upgrades. Am I a crazy person? Did you think Happy Gilmore looked incredible? I'd love to hear you justify that one if you did. Did you upgrade some shit in 2025? Are you tired of upgrading? Are you like, fuck it, I'm not going to upgrade another movie. I own Better Off Dead on Blu-ray. I don't need it on 4K. I'm going to keep my money. Let me know. Holler at me, because I want to know your opinion. I do care what you think, believe it or not. Even if I act indifferent, I do care what you think. Welcome again to Chatman Carruthers. I'm sorry your mom blew up. And the rest of you guys as well. The rest of you people as well. I love you very much. And I'll catch you guys on the flippy dippy. I love you. That one was for you, Mr. Carruthers.